The war was finally over. The galaxy was quiet for the first time in many years. Humanity had won the battle against Zarkul and his forces. But the victory was not just about weapons or strategy, it was about hope. On Earth, the people celebrated, flags flew everywhere, and songs of peace filled the streets. Families reunited, and children laughed once again. Mira stood on a hill outside the city, looking at the bright sky. Stars twinkled above, like silent witnesses to all that had happened. She thought about the long journey, the battles, the losses, and the courage that had brought them here. General Harris joined her. "This is the moment we dreamed of," he said softly. "A new dawn for humanity and all who live in the stars." But Mira knew the work was not finished. The galaxy was large and full of unknown dangers. Zarkul was defeated, but many other threats still existed. "We must build peace," she said, "not just fight wars." The leaders of the human empire sent messages to other species across the galaxy. They spoke of friendship, cooperation, and rebuilding. Many alien races had seen humanity's strength and bravery. Some wanted to join together for a better future. The once divided empires started talking again. This time, they chose trust over fear. Mira was part of a new mission, a team sent to explore unknown planets and help those affected by the war. She met new friends from different species, learning about their cultures and stories. On one planet, she met an alien child who smiled despite the scars of war. "Thank you," the child said quietly. "You saved us." Mira felt hope growing in her heart. Back on Earth, scientists worked to heal the damage caused by war. They planted forests, rebuilt cities, and restored ecosystems. The future was full of possibility. But the memory of the war stayed with everyone. It was a lesson, a warning, to never forget the price of peace. One night, Mira stood again under the stars. She whispered, "We survived because we believed in each other. We fought not just to live, but to protect what makes us human: hope, love, and courage." As the first light of dawn touched the horizon, a new era began. The galaxy was changing. Humanity was stronger, wiser, and ready to face whatever came next. Because peace was not the end. It was a new beginning. The destruction of Zarko's secret base was a big win for humanity. The enemy's attacks slowed, and hope spread among the people. But victory came with a heavy price. Back on Earth, the war room was filled with a tense silence. General Harris stared at the battle reports. "We lost many brave soldiers," he said softly. "Our pilots, ground troops, and engineers. Every life lost is a wound in our soul." Admiral Chen nodded. "The victory was important, but the cost is high. We must prepare for what comes next." Mira sat quietly, thinking about the friends she had lost during the battle. The faces of fallen comrades haunted her. The war was not just about strategy or weapons, it was about people, families, and dreams. At the same time, a new problem shook humanity. Rumors spread quickly that a traitor was still at large. The suspicion caused fear and doubt among the ranks. In a meeting with top leaders, General Harris said, "We found one traitor before, but now we have reason to believe there may be others. We must be careful who we trust." The leaders agreed to increase security and surveillance. Every person, from soldiers to scientists, was watched closely. The pressure grew heavier. Meanwhile, in a quiet room, Commander Jox was questioned. He had helped Mira before, but now questions were raised about his loyalty. Jox looked calm but tired. "I serve humanity," he said firmly. "I would never betray my people." Still, the doubt lingered. War made even the strongest minds uncertain. In the colonies, life became harder. Resources were scarce. Many families lived in fear of another attack. Children did not know if they would see their parents again. Mira visited one such colony on the planet Rylos. She met a mother named Anna and her young son. "We pray for peace every night," Anna said quietly. "But the war takes so much from us." Mira held the boy's hand. "We will fight to protect you. Your hope gives us strength." Back at the military base, scientists worked day and night to repair damaged ships and build new ones. The technology was advancing fast, but each new weapon reminded them of the cost. One night, Mira sat alone, looking at a small photo of her family. She whispered, "Is all this suffering worth it? Can peace truly come?" General Harris heard her question later during a strategy meeting. He answered, "War is never easy, Mira, but if we do not fight now, we lose everything we love. Victory is never free." The tension in the galaxy grew. Zarkul was not finished. He sent secret messages to his commanders, urging them to prepare for a final, terrible attack. Human leaders knew the worst was yet to come, but even in darkness, humanity's spirit burned bright. Soldiers trained harder. People worked together. They believed that their sacrifices would one day bring lasting peace. One day, a new message arrived from the spies behind enemy lines. It spoke of a powerful new weapon Zarkul was building. This weapon could destroy entire planets. The warning spread quickly. Humanity's leaders called an emergency meeting. "We must stop this weapon," Admiral Chen said. "If it is completed, everything we fought for will be lost." Mira prepared for the next mission. The war was far from over, but she felt stronger, more determined. "The price of victory is high," she thought, "but we will pay it, because humanity will not give up." The galaxy watched as the battle for survival continued. Each victory was hard won, and each loss felt deeply, but humanity was ready to face the price, because freedom was worth fighting for. The galaxy was on edge. After months of fighting, humanity and Zarkul's forces were ready for one last battle. The future of many worlds depended on what happened next. General Harris stood on Earth's command bridge, watching the vast fleet of human ships gathering in space. Ships of every size and type filled the stars like a shining army. The soldiers were tense, but determined. "Today, we fight not just for survival, but for our freedom," Harris said, his voice strong and steady. "We fight for every family, every child, every dream." Admiral Chen nodded beside him. "The enemy's forces are strong, but our courage is stronger. We know their weaknesses, and we will use them." Mira was on the flagship Valiant, ready to lead the front lines. Her heart beat fast, but her mind was clear. She had trained for this moment her whole life. The enemy fleet was waiting near the edge of a massive nebula cloud of gas and dust that made detection difficult. Zarkul had gathered his strongest ships and weapons there, hoping to surprise humanity once again. But the humans had a plan. Using new sensors, they found hidden paths through the nebula. Small squads of ships slipped quietly past enemy lines to attack from behind. The battle began with a flash of lasers and explosions. The space around the nebula filled with chaos. Ships darted and weaved through the stars, firing powerful weapons. The fight was fierce and brutal. Mira flew her fighter close to the enemy flagship. The ship was massive, covered in thick armor and glowing weapons. She called out to her squad, "Focus on the engines. We need to slow them down." The pilots worked together, dodging enemy fire and targeting weak points. The flagship shook from the attacks, but Zarkul was not ready to give up. Suddenly, the enemy flagship fired a huge energy cannon. The beam cut through space, destroying one of the human ships. The crew of the Valiant held their breath. "We have to get closer," Mira shouted. "Our new missiles can pierce their armor." The Valiant moved fast, weaving through debris and blasts. Mira fired the special missiles. They hit the enemy flagship's engines with powerful explosions. The huge ship slowed down, losing speed and control. At that moment, human fighters launched, boarding pods, small capsules designed to carry soldiers onto enemy ships. Mira's team was first. They landed on the flagship's surface, fighting through dark corridors filled with alien guards. Mira's team moved quickly, planting explosives. and disabling control systems. Meanwhile, in the command room of the flagship, Zarkol was furious. "They think they can win," he growled. "Send everything to stop them." Alien reinforcements rushed to defend the ship. The fighting became close and dangerous. Mira and her team fought bravely, but the enemy was strong. Suddenly, the ship shook violently. The explosives planted by Mira's team detonated. Alarms blared, and fires spread through the corridors. Zarkol's control systems failed. The flagship started to lose power. Outside, the human fleet took advantage. With the flagship disabled, enemy ships began to retreat or surrender. General Harris saw the turning point. "Push forward. Victory is near." The final battle was long and hard, but humanity's courage and teamwork won. Zarkol's forces were broken. After the fight, Mira stood on the bridge of the Valiant, looking at the stars. The war was almost over, but even in victory, she knew the cost had been high. Many lives were lost, many homes destroyed. Still, humanity had proven one thing: no matter how dark the threat, they would never give up. The galaxy would remember this final showdown as the moment when humanity showed its true strength, and a new hope began to rise. The war had begun in full force. The peace treaty was a lie, and human colonies were under attack. But there was one more danger hiding in the shadows: a traitor inside humanity's own ranks. After the surprise attack, General Harris and Admiral Chen knew someone had leaked secret information to the enemy. How else could the aliens have planned so perfectly? The leaders called an emergency meeting at the Earth Command Center. "We must find the traitor," General Harris said firmly. "If we do not, more lives will be lost. This enemy is not only outside us, they are inside." Admiral Chen nodded. "Our spies are already working on it, but the enemy is clever. The traitor will try to hide." Mira, the young officer who had helped uncover the trap, was chosen to lead the investigation. She was sharp, brave, and trusted by everyone. She agreed to find the traitor, no matter the cost. Mira began by reviewing all the secret messages that had leaked before the attack. She worked with cryptographers to find patterns or clues. Hours passed as she studied the data. Slowly, a picture started to form. The traitor was someone with access to the highest levels of communication, someone who could pass information quickly and secretly. The news shocked many in the command center. Who could it be? A trusted leader, a spy, a friend. Mira met with her small team of intelligence officers. "We need to watch everyone closely," she said. "Look for unusual behavior. Anyone who tries to avoid questions or hide information." The team started surveillance. They monitored communications, tracked movements, and questioned people quietly. The tension grew. No one knew who to trust. Meanwhile, Mira went on a secret mission to gather more evidence. She traveled to a distant human colony called Vesta. The colony had been quiet during the attacks, but Mira suspected something was wrong. At Vesta, she met Commander Jocks, a respected officer. Jocks welcomed her warmly and promised full cooperation, but Mira noticed he seemed nervous when she asked about recent communications. That night, Mira secretly accessed the colony's secure network. Her heart pounded as she searched for clues. She found encrypted files hidden deep in the system files sent to an unknown recipient outside the colony. Mira took copies of the files and returned to Earth. She gave them to the cryptographers. They worked day and night to decode the files. The decrypted message shocked everyone. It was a report about human defenses and battle plans, sent directly to the alien commander, Zarkul. Now, the hunt was urgent. Mira's team traced the files back to a communications officer on Vesta, man named Terran. Terran was a quiet, unassuming man who worked in the colony's signal tower. Mira and her team planned a quiet arrest. They did not want to alert the traitor. When they confronted Terran, he denied everything. "I am loyal to humanity," he said. But under pressure, He broke down and confessed. "I did not want to," he said. "They threatened my family. I had no choice." Terran revealed that Zarkal's spies had found his family and promised to harm them if he did not cooperate. He had passed on only what they asked, hoping to keep his family safe. Mira felt a mix of anger and sadness. The war was cruel. Even humans could be forced to betray their own. General Harris decided on a plan. They would use Terran as a double agent. Terran would send false information to Zarkol and help trap the enemy. The plan was risky, but it was their best chance. Meanwhile, Mira returned to the battlefield. She knew the war was far from over. The traitor was found, but the enemy still had powerful weapons and many ships. Mira felt a new determination. "We will fight smarter," she told her team. "We will protect humanity and our future." Back at the secret base in the asteroid field, Mira prepared for the next mission. The human fleet was ready to strike Zarkol's command center. The galaxy watched with hope. Humanity's fight had become harder, but they were united. The trap had been sprung, the traitor found, and now the real battle for survival had begun. The war was fierce, and humanity was pushed to its limits. The trap had been sprung, the traitor found, and now the time had come to fight back harder than ever. General Harris stood in the command room on Earth. The big screen showed the enemy's secret base, hidden in the asteroid field. It was the heart of Zarkal's power, the place where the alien leader controlled his fleet and weapons. "We have a chance to strike a big blow," Harris said to Admiral Chen and the fleet commanders. "If we destroy this base, we can stop the enemy's attacks for a long time." Admiral Chen nodded. "Our ships are ready. The strike team is prepared. This is our moment." Mira was chosen to lead the strike team. She felt the weight of the mission on her shoulders. The whole of humanity depended on her success. The strike team gathered aboard the stealth cruiser Valiant. It was a fast, small ship designed for surprise attacks. Mira looked at her crew pilots, engineers, and soldiers. Each one was ready to risk everything. "We strike fast and hard," Mira said. "We cannot let Zarkol see us coming." The Valiant slipped quietly through the asteroid field. Giant rocks floated all around, creating perfect cover. The ship's sensors scanned for enemy patrols. Suddenly, warning alarms sounded. Enemy fighters appeared from behind asteroids, ready to attack. The battle was on. The crew of the Valiant worked together with skill and calm. Pilots flew tight formations, dodging enemy fire. Engineers boosted the shields and repaired damage quickly. Mira's voice was clear and strong. "Focus on the base. We must break through." The enemy fighters tried to block their path, but the strike team used clever tactics. They split into groups, confusing the attackers. Some ships flew low near the asteroids, hiding in shadows. Others attacked directly, drawing fire away from the main force. After a tense fight, the Valiant reached the base. It was huge, covered with weapons and defense systems. The ship's surface glowed with energy. Mira gave the order. "Fire all weapons. Target the power cores." Lasers and missiles streaked through space, hitting the base with great force. Explosions lit up the darkness. The base shook as its defenses started to fail. Inside the base, Zarkol watched the attack on his screens. His face twisted with anger. "They dare strike at my command. Send reinforcements." But the strike team was already prepared for this. Human ships arrived from behind, cutting off the enemy reinforcements. Mira's crew worked fast. They destroyed the weapon systems, then moved to destroy the communication arrays. Zarkol's control over his fleet weakened. The battle was dangerous. The base fired back with powerful beams. One missile nearly hit the Valiant, but the pilot dodged at the last second. Mira's heart pounded, but she stayed focused. "Keep pushing. We are close." Finally, the power cores were hit. A massive explosion rocked the base. Pieces of metal and fire flew into space. The base was destroyed. The enemy fleet was stunned. Without the base, their attacks slowed and became less organized. General Harris watched the news with a small smile. "We have turned the tide," he said. "Now, we must keep the pressure." The victory gave humanity new hope. The soldiers and pilots felt stronger. They believed they could win this war. But the battle was not over. Zarkul was still dangerous. He had hidden weapons and loyal forces ready to fight back. Humanity knew the enemy would not give up easily. Meanwhile, Mira and her team returned to Earth. They were greeted as heroes. But Mira felt no time to rest. "We won this battle," she said, "but the war is still ahead. Zarkul will strike again. We must be ready." The scientists worked to improve weapons and defenses. Soldiers trained harder. The people of Earth united in support. Mira looked up at the stars. She thought about the future and the cost of war. But she also felt pride in humanity's courage and strength. The trap had been set, but humans had seen it coming. They had fought back and changed the game. The tide was turning, and humanity was ready to fight for its survival no matter. What came next? The galaxy had been at war for many years. Different alien empires fought with each other over land, power, and resources. The stars were full of battleships, and many planets were destroyed. The war had made everyone tired and scared. But then, a surprising announcement came from the leaders of the strongest empires. They said they would stop fighting. They wanted peace. The news spread quickly. Every planet and star system heard the message. A great peace treaty will be signed soon. This treaty promised an end to the long war. People hoped for calm, safety, and a new future. Many cheered and dreamed of a better life. Among the empires was humanity. Humans had grown strong, despite many losses. They fought bravely and never gave up. Their leaders listened carefully to the treaty talks, but they were not easy to convince. Deep inside, they felt something was wrong. The humans knew peace was good, but they also knew war made some people greedy. Some wanted to trick others to gain power. So, humanity kept a secret. They did not just trust the treaty. They prepared quietly, just in case. On Earth, in a hidden command center, the top human leaders met. The room was full of bright screens, showing maps of space and the positions of fleets. General Harris looked serious. He said, "The peace treaty sounds like hope, but we cannot forget the danger. Our spies found strange movements near our colonies. We must be ready." Admiral Chen nodded. "We will not let them catch us by surprise. Our defenses are strong. The new weapons and ships are ready. We have studied every detail of the treaty. We will watch every step the aliens take." The room was silent for a moment. Everyone knew what was at stake. If the treaty was true, it could bring peace for many years. But if it was a trap, humanity could lose everything. Far away, on the planet Zorath, a group of alien leaders gathered. They smiled as they talked about the treaty. They did not want peace. They planned to trick humans and take their colonies easily. "We will make them lower their guard," said the alien leader, Zarkul. "Then, when they least expect, we will attack. This war will end in our favor." Back on Earth, the news spread that the treaty signing would happen on the neutral space station called Nova Prime. It was a huge station that floated between stars. Leaders from many empires would come together. The whole galaxy would watch. In the days before the signing, humans prepared their ships for defense. Scientists worked on new shields and weapons. Soldiers trained hard. The people hoped for peace, but waited for the truth. The day of the signing arrived. Nova Prime was full of bright lights and banners. Aliens of many kinds came with their flags. Humans wore their formal uniforms and looked proud. Cameras from all over the galaxy recorded the event. The leaders gave speeches about hope, unity, and a new era. Everyone clapped and cheered. The treaty was signed with great ceremony. It promised no more attacks, free trade, and respect for all planets. But while the crowd celebrated, a young human officer named Mira watched carefully. She noticed something strange. Some aliens whispered and looked around nervously. Mira felt uneasy. After the ceremony, Mira met General Harris. She said, "Sir, I don't trust this piece. Something feels wrong. Our sensors picked up unusual signals near our mining colonies. It could be a setup." The general looked at her and smiled sadly. "Good. We are ready. Humanity has learned from the past. We will watch and wait. If the trap comes, we will fight back stronger than ever." That night, Mira looked at the stars from the window of the command center. The galaxy was quiet for now, but she knew the real test was just beginning. Peace might be just a word, or it might be a new chance for all species. The next morning, a secret message arrived. It was encrypted and came from an unknown source. The message said, "The peace treaty is a trap. Prepare for war. Humanity's survival depends on a plan no one knows." Mira showed the message to the leaders. They exchanged serious looks. The warning was clear. Humanity was not alone in suspecting the treaty. But who sent the message? Was it a friend or a hidden enemy? The leaders decided to keep the message secret. They could not panic the people. Instead, they worked harder to protect the colonies and gather more information. Days passed slowly. Then, strange movements began near the outer colonies. Alien ships appeared close to human worlds. Tension rose. The peace treaty felt weaker with each passing hour. But humanity stayed calm. Their ships were ready. Their soldiers were ready. And their secret weapons were ready. Mira joined the fleet command. She prepared to face whatever came next. The galaxy was holding its breath. Would peace last? Or was it just the calm before the storm? The answer was coming soon. The galaxy had hoped for peace. But the moment of hope soon turned into a nightmare. Just days after the peace treaty was signed on Nova Prime, human colonies started to feel a sudden change. Strange signals appeared on their sensors. Alien ships moved fast and quietly, closer than anyone expected. The warning signs were there, but most people still wanted to believe in peace. One night, at the remote mining colony on the planet Corin, alarms blared loudly. The colony's commander, Captain Lyra, rushed to the control room. Her face was tense. "We are under attack," she shouted. Outside, dark shapes moved quickly in the sky. Enemy ships fired powerful energy beams. Explosions shook the ground. The peace treaty was a trap. Back on Earth, General Harris was in the command center when the news came. His eyes narrowed. "They've started," he said quietly. "The aliens never wanted peace. They wanted to weaken us first." Admiral Chen stood beside him. "We warned the council, but they ignored us. Now we must act." Without wasting time, human fleets jumped into action. Ships lifted off from Earth and other colonies. Their engines roared as they sped toward Corin. Soldiers prepared for battle. The attack was quick and brutal. The aliens hoped to catch humans off guard, but humanity had planned for this moment. They had built secret defense stations and hidden fleets around key colonies. When the enemy ships arrived, they were met with powerful resistance. Captain Lyra's forces fought fiercely. Laser beams flashed in the sky. Human fighters darted through enemy lines. Explosions lit up space like fireworks. Though outnumbered, humans used their new tactics and weapons to push back the attackers. General Harris watched the battle from the command center. "Hold the line," he ordered. "Do not let them take Corin." Meanwhile, a team of human spies worked behind enemy lines. One of them was Mira, the young officer who had warned about the trap. She was on a small stealth ship, moving close to the alien command base. Mira's mission was dangerous. She needed to find out who ordered the attack. As she moved silently through enemy space, she saw secret communications between alien leaders. She recorded their plans and sent the data back to Earth. Suddenly, Mira noticed something disturbing. One of the alien commanders was talking about a secret weapon. "Our new weapon will break their shields in minutes," the commander said. "We must use it before humans can react." Mira's heart raced. This weapon could change the war completely. Back at Corin, the battle continued. The aliens brought their secret weapon, a massive ship with a huge energy cannon. It fired a beam that cut through human shields like paper. Many human ships exploded. The colony was in danger, but human scientists had prepared a surprise. On Earth, they had been working on a new shield technology that could absorb energy attacks. As the weapon fired, the new shields activated around Corin. The energy beam lost power and faded. The human defenders cheered. The trap was dangerous, but humanity was ready. Still, the attack was only the beginning. Alien forces spread out. They tried to attack other colonies at the same time. The galaxy was filled with battles. Everywhere humans fought to protect their homes. The peace treaty had been a clever trick to make humans lower their guard. The aliens hoped to win the war quickly by surprise, but humans did not panic. They stayed united. General Harris said, "This war will test our spirit. We fight for our future, for our families, for all life in the galaxy." The human fleet moved to protect Earth. The enemy fleet was large and powerful. A massive space battle began above the blue planet. Human pilots showed great skill. They flew fast and smart, avoiding enemy fire and striking back with precision. The battle was fierce. Explosions shook the silence of space. In the middle of the fight, Admiral Chen received a message from the spies. "The alien leader who planned this attack is Zarkul," the message said. "He is dangerous and ruthless." Admiral Chen grimaced. "Then we must stop him." Meanwhile, Mira was still behind enemy lines. She had one more task to find Zarkul's secret base. It was hidden deep in an asteroid field. If humans could destroy the base, they could slow the enemy's attacks. Mira sent the coordinates to Earth. The fleet prepared a strike team. As the battle raged in space, Mira moved carefully through the asteroid field. The rocks were large and dangerous. One wrong move could destroy her ship. Suddenly, enemy fighters appeared. Mira's ship shook from the blasts. She used every skill she had learned to evade them. After a tense chase, she managed to escape and reached the secret base. She sent a final message: "Base located, ready for strike." Back on Earth, General Harris smiled. "Humanity is strong. We saw this trap coming, and we are ready to fight." The galaxy watched in silence. The peace treaty was broken, but humanity's spirit was unbroken. The trap had been sprung, but humanity was not trapped.